Kimspiracy.
Welcome to this week's Kimspiracy. What is truth? Only the most profound question ever asked when Pilate asked Jesus, what is truth? Today, the world no longer defines truth as veracity or conformity to facts. Today's truth is about what is real to self. Today's truth is about corrupting the innocent with sexually explicit material targeting kindergartners adopted by some 16 states. Today's truth states that a woman's right to terminate a child in her womb at her whim is more valuable than the life she seeks to take. Today's truth says children should be nurtured and encouraged with enthusiasm to ignore their biological sex if they feel different, and the accepting parents should be applauded. Today's truth is not the same truth you were taught in school, which is why you rarely see your child's textbooks. Today's truth is that the federal government is better equipped to educate your child than you, and but for the grace of God, ours would be raised in Hillary's village had she won the election. Today's truth now taught in our colleges include curriculum that beats down and belittles young men for their patriarchal privilege, despite females representing 56% of nationwide enrollments. Today's truth is a prison of emasculated men controlled by a horde of angry, demonic women, hell-bent, no pun intended, on eliminating their role from society completely. Today's truth means some people are more equal than others. Today's truth is found in forced courses about inherent racism, white privilege, male privilege, sexism, homophobia, trans hatred, and nativism, which is a crime you've committed if you've ever held the American flag. Lecture halls on campuses nationwide are echoing the same proclamation that all evil is born of puritanical Christians, and the ultimate transgression is proudly stating one's belief that Jesus Christ is the Savior whose birth was supernaturally prophesied in the Old Testament. Today's academic truth is no longer found in lessons learned from the Oregon Trail, the bombing of Pearl Harbor, the beach at Normandy, or the carnage of September 11th. Today's truth includes college courses offered on Lady Gaga, Harry Potter, and how to watch television. Today's truth says man has more power to impact the climate than the creator of them both. Today's truth is about gender fluidity and the social responsibility one has to memorize the textbooks of different genders. Today's truth means if your reproductive organ cells appear female under a microscope, but you wish you were a man, well, voila, senor, you're now a dude. Today's truth is the ACLU's declaration that men can get periods, get pregnant, and give birth. Today's truth is fiercely protected by quickly silencing and aggressively deplatforming dissenting voices. Free speech is free if it agrees with the radicals, and tolerance will be strictly enforced with intolerance toward any Nazi who voted for Trump. Today's truth include restrictions on the Constitution in some states on a citizen's right to own firearms as concisely written in the Second Amendment. And as the war is increasingly being brought to policemen who are now being murdered at an alarming rate, the thin blue thread grows thinner and response times grow longer. Society weakens further and grows more violent, yet our government does nothing to stop the dirty money funding these protests with well-made signs held by protesters calling for stricter gun laws while chanting "Kill all pigs." That is today's truth. To deny today's truth is reality shaming. It doesn't matter what your eyes see or your ears hear. If it's against the legacy media talking points marched down from their owners, then it isn't truth. Period. Today's truth means that you cannot be a Christian and support Donald Trump. Today's truth says if you do support the President of the United States, even if you happen to be black, you are a hateful, Russian-supporting white supremacist who delights in being cruel to others. Are you? Because today's truth says you are. Today, the world's truth is no longer defined by the map given to us by a just and righteous God. The world's truth is now fluid and interchangeable in accordance with the evil intent of men. Today's truth will soon insist that you view pedophiles with compassion and understanding. After all, our government is rife with perpetrators of child sexual abuse, which will be revealed in time if any justice at all on this earth still exists. If you found former Vice President Joe Biden's comments spoken at a campaign rally this weekend, where he proclaimed he enjoys children fondling his hairy legs and sitting in his lap in a swimming pool disturbing, then you are at odds with today's truth. You must ignore the video of Vice President Biden bragging about his threat of withholding aid if Ukraine did not fire one of their prosecutors for investigating the shady dealings of his morally corrupt son. The world's new truth has determined it is more noble to impeach a duly elected president for asking about the investigation than to hold their own accountable for corruption. Congress is full of career Republican and Democrats whose combined terms average 36 years, yet they expect millions of hard-working, sane Americans to believe that one man who has been in office for only 3 years is suddenly the root of this nation's problems. They think we are that blind to their clear and dirty obstruction of what is ultimately the will of the American people. Today's truth is found at climate summits hosted by the UN with spokesmen who claim 7 million people have died from pollution while providing no scientific evidence. And whatever changes happening on Earth can't possibly be related to what was written in Romans 8:22, for we know that the whole creation has been groaning as the pains of childbirth right up to the present time. As societies have turned away from God and embraced the things of this world, so have the number of natural disasters increased. Yes, we have become more industrialized, but so has our capacity to do evil. Today's truth is about accepting that there is a coming line in the sand, but you will be astonished by how low those in power are willing to go and eagerly take this country down with them. Today's truth is that widespread persecution is quickly approaching, and the reasons justifying the savage behavior now prevalent in some American cities are growing. At some point, everyone will be forced to come out of the shadows and make a choice, some kind of choice. Keep your eyes on the result of the 2020 election. Families, friends, and associates have been successfully divided and conquered to the point that mothers will barely speak to their daughters at Thanksgiving over politics. There is a hateful unrest fermenting on both sides. The victims of victimhood are tired of bending to the will of the victims. Well-funded George Soros groups like Antifa and Black Bloc are waiting for just the right spark to set off urban warfare. Regardless of who wins the election in 2020, change is coming to America. Stagnant waters draw mosquitoes, garbage attracts roaches, and neglected gardens grow weeds. And chickens come home to roost.
Kimspiracy. Kimspiracy.